brilliant speed with vibrant service, vibrant broadband internet.
And speaking of brilliant, it is 10:30, and the brilliant people from Vibrant, the Brilliant Company, are here. Hello.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
How are you doing?
Good, I'm doing great.
All right.
What a beautiful day, huh?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Right now, might get a little sticky later on.
Yeah, but you know,
It's already sticky.
Oh,
better than like 40 below. So think of it that way.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Welcome to Vibrant You Live. My name is Shane.
And I'm Jane.
And the summer goes by fast, doesn't it?
Oh,
Except when you're a kid. A lot of times when you're a kid, it's like the summer drags along. You
you
kind of
thought
bored.
so? Not me.
No, it just flies by.
I don't know, like
And when they said it's Labor Day and it's time to go back to school, no, I wanted summer to last.
But there are some days that's like, oh, I got nothing to do today. I'm so bored. Yeah, right.
That's a swear word in my house.
And nowadays, you know, there's always all these electronics and games and, you know,
Yeah.
computers that kids do. But when we were growing up, I mean, I was playing with Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs and
We
Erector
made our
sets.
own toys.
Yeah, you built
Literally.
things, right?
Yeah.
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 So there is something, though, that kids do over the summer that tend to leave them, like when they finish school, then they kind of forget some of the stuff they were taught in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
And
They check out.
Yeah, they kind of check out. It's called the summer slide.
And really?
Yeah, the summer slide.
That's what we used to roll a golf ball down on with the summer slide.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, like when athletes, or, you know, when they're off season, they still train. Because if they don't, they're going to lose some of that ability that they've trained, right? I see that when I shoot sporting clays or skeet. I shoot that all summer long. In the wintertime, I don't shoot hardly at all. And boy, in the springtime, I got to kind of relearn what I, you know, learned last summer. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's called the summer slide. But Jane, explain what this is.
Sure. I kind of was laughing when we were talking about this earlier this morning. I like to reference it as a slip and slide, right? Because
There you go.
your education, your formal education is in like math, reading, all of the stuff that's key to your world in school slips and you slide, right? So you kind of forget what you have, and it's kind of like the same thing that you had talked about with an athlete. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? And you know, if you're into the gym and working out and different things, and then you just kind of take a break and you try to go back, it takes a long time to get you there, right? So that's what the summer slide is about. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so how do you prevent it from happening, and what do you need to do, or why, you know, kind of what's happening? So in summer, you know, as a parent, I was always like, oh, thank God, you know, school's out and I don't have to do all those.
You have to drive them,
Yeah, I
drive
don't
them
have to
all
go
over.
online and check their grades and all that kind of stuff. But you know, that's the formal part of education. And during the summer, it's like, make it fun. Utilize the internet, and then allow them to do things that are outside activities. Yeah, you know, like counting, you know, like when the kids are little, to count how many leaves, find X amount of different types of leaves and identify what tree they're from and learn more about their history of them. And, you know, I know coding is kind of a big thing and up and coming. A lot of people are into that right now too. So there's some really cool, fun things that when we were, you know, researching this, you can get involved with. And there's a lot of apps that are free out there.
Yep. So why does this happen? Well, there's a lot of factors that contribute to the summer slide. Less structured academic practice. You know, obviously when you go to school, there's a routine, but in the summertime, that routine is pretty lax, okay? Increased recreational screen time, especially nowadays. Our kids are on their, iPads or tablets or watching computers, playing games, things like that. That increases. There's fewer opportunities to read or solve math problems, okay? And then there's reduced access to books or educational resources. You know, especially, like if you live in town, you can, ride your bike. If you're old enough, ride your bike to the library or that kind of thing. But out in if you live in a rural area, it's not as easy to do that. So you don't have as free access to books or new books. And then, just limited participation in some summer activities. That all contributes to this summer slide, right? But kids who regularly read or visit libraries or attend camps, participate in educational activities, or like we're going to talk about here shortly, some of these, you can use your electronics to like do things and help you with this. They tend to retain a lot of the academic stuff that they learned in the spring, and the good news is that it can be prevented, right? So the summer slide can be reduced by doing things like reading for fun. Just read, even comic books, read. Don't just look at the pictures, but read the actual words. Kind
Really?
of comprehend. Yeah.
You supposed to do that?
Math games, playing games with the family, board games and stuff. A lot of that math stuff can help. Coding activities like Jane mentioned, learn to code. Use your computer to learn to code. Scavenger hunts, even gardening, activities that keep your mind fresh. So the key is, being consistent and make it enjoyable. So, Jane, why does this matter?
I think there's a lot that goes into play with education. It's not just, understanding things. It also affects your emotional well-being. And if you kind of come into school and you're not as smart as you used to be, or somebody else is smarter, there's a bit of confidence that happens, they lose that confidence. And so the other thing is, if you've noticed, I think teachers spend several weeks repeating what they learned from the year before.
Get caught up.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of keep everything during the summer and keep it fun and keep it light, that really helps build their confidence, keeps their confidence, and then they're more apt to raise their hand in the classroom, or know the answer kind of thing, and the confidence definitely helps them.
And they can maybe shorten that time period of having to relearn things.
Yeah.
Shorten that time period up so that you're kind of learning fresh things,
And I think it's also, as a kid, what are they curious about? Because there's certain things that I love that I'm curious about. I love gardening, I love baking, and so those are some opportunities that you would kind of learn. If I wanted to plant a garden with my kid, let's count how many inches you have to plant the next vegetable seed in there. How deep does it have to go? Just different things like that. And then you're reading a recipe for if you wanted to make banana bread. Yeah, so those are just different things, because then they're learning a skill, and then they're also keeping their math. Well, if you want to double the recipe, how many, if it's 3/4 of a cup times
or
by
even 1.5 times the recipe,
Yes.
right? That's even
So,
more math. But and I can see in that respect that they're also learning that this stuff, they're going to use this stuff in real life, right?
Are they going to learn to just ask Alexa?
Well, yeah, there is that, because I do the same thing. Like, what's 1.5 cups times 1.5, right?
Yeah,
Give me
right.
that total.
I don't even think about that. Now I would have to write that down. So. Now I feel insecure, Shane.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. But, like I said, tap into their curiosity and see what helps with that. Lauren was really into puzzles, and so we got her a lot of puzzles, and she was very much on a task-oriented person, and Hannah was into the gardening and baking, so that really was helpful. So there's just a lot of tools out there. The other thing is, when we did research this, there's a couple of things online, like the Smithsonian Institute. They do museum educational tours online, so you can kind of check that out if that's your jam. And then I was thinking about, the library is amazing, and by reading books and different things, you get certain stickers or awards, that kind of thing. And then I think people have made like plays out of their books, so that would be kind of a fun entertainment thing if people are into theater and reading and kind of making it come true, come true kind of thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, if you're into birds, you can do, identify 20 new birds and then talk about it as a family. There's geocaching. That's the geocaching.
Geocaching,
I've never done it, but
My kids have
like
done that.
selling your old Geo Prism fire?
Would that be something?
No.
They put some type of coin in the area, and you have to find it.
It's using GPS. and your phone. And sometimes they'll use these little boxes and they'll hide them in different places, okay? And then they put it out on the interwebs that there's a geocache located at this, this area.
And then how do you get it figured out where to go look?
Yeah, there's geocaching tools out there and maps. Okay. And then what's fun though is that like the next person that finds that geocache box will leave something in that box for the next person to find.
Oh.
So it becomes kind of a game that way. I know my kids have done it a few times, and there are some in Litchfield here even, some geocaches.
I see some painted rocks.
Well, maybe
that deal.
Yeah, painted
rock.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah, they paint a rock and then you leave it, and someone else that finds it, then they're supposed to move it to a different spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, those kinds of activities are great, and that you're using technology at the same time as being out in nature.
Right. And there's a lot of free stuff out there. NASA Kids Club, this is something that I thought was really interesting. If kids are into space, they have STEM activities and there's engineering challenges. I know a lot of people wanted to go into engineering, and you need a lot of math with that too. So.
And STEM stands for?
I have no idea.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there are high school now has STEM classes that kind of combine a lot of those things together.
Yep. And then outdoors, people are interested in outdoors. There's hikes that you can, check out. That we have a lot of amazing parks, so you can check those out. And that would be how many miles to this point and the, altitude.
Make a game
that
of it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then building birdhouses, all that, just different.
Yeah, you have to use math skills for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what kind of tips do you offer for parents, Shane?
Well, the biggest thing is keep the learning sessions short. Don't make it an all-day activity. Just 20 to 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference. And don't do the same thing every day. Kind of mix it up. You can plan a week like this, like a Monday do something, a Tuesday do something different, kind of a thing. But mix screen time with hands-on time, kind of a thing. Just like we talked about, use technology to your advantage this way. And let the kids choose the topics. Say, what would you like to learn about, or what would you like to do? And then kind of come up with a creative way to make that an activity that keeps that, reading, math, and that kind of thing all in there. Celebrate progress with small rewards. Like you said, Jane, have a star, or have something they can, work up to, and maybe at the end of the week, if they have 5 stars, they get a bigger something. Maybe they get to pick what's for supper.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it just kind of helps prevent this summer slide from happening. They don't need summer school to keep learning. They just need opportunities to stay curious. And reading a book, exploring a trail, building something, all this stuff will let kids reduce that summer slide and have fun during the summer.
I think being curious is probably the best trait anybody can have, because it keeps you thinking and then asking those what if questions. So
right.
So if you are curious about car and bike night, we're gonna be there tomorrow night at 5:30.
We are.
Yeah, Shane and I are gonna be there. So come on out, check us out.
It's gonna be a great time.
Oh yeah. So. And if you get a little hot, there's always inside you can go and check out.
Yep,
come on out,
cool down inside, and then come back out, enjoy the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then, too, if you're curious about dreaming of streaming, we are having an event in Paynesville next week. So we'll give you more information on that next week as well. And then the fair, we're going to be at the fair.
Yep.
I can't believe that's 2
Fair's
weeks
coming
away.
up.
That is just crazy.
It is.
So if you have any questions, give us a call, 693-3231, or learn about us at vibrantbroadband.com. Catch the replay on Facebook or YouTube channel. Search for Vibrant Broadband. And then listen live every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. At 10:30 on KLFD.
All right. Thank you, Jeff, for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, audience, for listening. My name is Shane.
And I'm Jane.
Tune in next week for another Vibrant You Live.
Brilliant speed with vibrant service. Vibrant broadband internet. Vibrant broadband internet.